So hi guys, welcome to the channel Learn Concepts with Nikhil. Discover, learn and grow. So in this video, we'll be learning about prioritizing requirements, best methods and practices. Before jumping into the video, first we should know why we need to prioritize the requirements, right? We will be getting many type of requirements in the requirement gathering phase, right? Then we will be analyzing and we will be categorizing them into functional, non-functional, and all these things. Then we will be coming into prioritizing. Actually, prioritizing is also one of the phase of analysis, but I made it a separate video. Why? Because you will be understanding more about prioritizing. It is one of the most important. It is one of the most important phase. So I kept it as a separate video. So why we need to why we need to prioritize the requirements? Why? Because see, prioritizing requirements in the future will be turning into user stories as well as futures, right? We need to prioritize which futures or which user stories need to be built first. So let's discuss about it. So, requirement prioritization is a process of ranking and organizing requirements based on importance, value, feasibility, and urgency to ensure efficient development and resource allocation. It is quite intuitive. You can understand by reading, but I'll try to explain. Requirement prioritization is a process of ranking. We will be ranking the requirements. For suppose we have got 50 requirements in the requirement gathering process. And after analyzing, I think after analyzing, we may get around 25 to 30 requirements. Let's assume like in analyzing, we will be refining, right? We will be refining the requirements and we will be evaluating the requirements, right? So after analyzing, after refining the requirements, let's assume we got 30 requirements. In those 30 requirements, it's like we need to rank those requirements. Like we cannot build all those 30 requirements in one go, right? If we build in one go, there is no sense of there is no sense of a scrum only. Scrum is the one where we will be building the requirements based upon some time boxed iteration. So every software company needs to follow Scrum in order to build a perfect product and different versions. So we need to rank the requirements. We need to rank those 30 to 40 requirements which we have gathered and which we have analyzed. So excuse me, guys. Yeah. So we need to rank the requirements based upon their importance, based upon their business value, based upon their feasibility. That is nothing but based upon their easy to build a feature and urgency. If we build a 30, if we refine 30 requirements, right? If every requirement won't be important. Some requirements are very crucial and some requirements are for delightment. Some requirements are non-functional, right? So first we will be not categorizing. First we will be ranking the requirements which are most important to the project. Without those requirements, the project won't work or the software product won't work. So we will be categorizing or we will be ranking the requirements based upon importance. Next, business value. Let's take an example. We have built an excellent problem, but if it is not solving the user problems, it won't generate any revenue, right? If it not generates any revenue, there will be a loss. Business will be incurring a loss, right? So we have to prioritize requirements which solves the user problem as well as which brings the profits and which brings the revenue to the business. So we have to think in that perspective also, and we have to think in that perspective also, and we have to rank the requirements. We have to rank the requirements based on importance. We have to rank the requirements based on business value too, and we have to rank the requirements based on feasibility too. Feasibility is nothing but which is easy to build, right? Easy to build and which does not take much resources like budget and all. Next, urgency. Also, we have to consider urgency while organizing and ranking the requirements, right? For example, urgency is something like urgency is something like we need to urgent products. We need to build a urgent futures which solves the user's problem. So you have to consider urgency too to ensure efficient development and resource allocation, right? Why is the requirement prioritization important? As we know, as I said you before, it ensures the critical features are developed first. we will be developing the features which are only important and which will only solve the user problems. So, right, we need to prioritize only those requirements which will be solving the user problems. We don't if we prioritize the requirements which are only for a beautifulness, which makes the software beautiful and it does not solve the user problems, then the product is waste, right? First of all, the major core value, the major core aspect of building a software product is to solve the user problems, to solve the client products. So you have to prioritize the futures or requirements based upon the perspective that it solves the user problems. Next, helps in budget and resource optimization, right? We will be developing only some requirements, so it helps in budget and resource allocation, reduces scope creep and project delays. As I said, you scope creep is nothing but if it exceeds the timeline, it is scope creep. It reduces the scope creep and project delays. Aligns development with business goals and user needs. As I said you before, if the product or the software product is not generating the revenue or the profit for client or the business, it is waste, right? The product is waste. So it should solve the problems of users as well as it should generate the revenue for the business. So it should align the business goals as well as user needs. This is the reason why we will be prioritizing the requirements so that those prioritized requirements will be transformed or will be translated into user stories, then on to futures. So now, excuse me. Uh, we will be learning about some popular requirement prioritization techniques. First is Moscow. Moscow is nothing but M stands for must have, S stands for should have, CO stands for could have, and W stands for would have. For suppose we have 20 requirements. Let's assume we have 20 requirements. We have gathered and analyzed the 20 requirements, and now we will be following a prioritization requirement method called Moscow. 1 minute, guys. Laptop charging is completed, so I'm keeping the laptop charging. Yeah, it's charging. So, yep. So, we have gathered 20 requirements, right? We have gathered and analyzed the 20 requirements. And when coming to prioritization requirements, we will be using Moscow. Let's assume we'll be using Moscow prioritization technique. First, in those 20 requirements, we will be ranking or categorizing the requirements based on a Moscow method. That is nothing but must have. We will be in those 20 requirements. Not every requirement is a must have. Must have is something that is essential for project success, which solves the user problems, right? So there will be only 2 or 3 must have requirements out of those 20 requirements. So first we need to build those must have requirements. Those 2 to 3 requirements. Next is should have. These are important but not crucial and not critical as a must have. Must have though, if you didn't build must have requirements, that project will be failure. But should have is the something they are important, but they are not much important as must have. So there will be again 3 to 4 requirements which falls in the category of should have. Then there are could have futures are the nice to have futures. These are optional. There are not optional, they are not so important. Not so important as must have and could have. Must have is for sure they are the what we can say, they are the soul of the product. Should have is they are important. Could have is nothing but they will be building the user experience, they will be delighting the user experience. For example, the color patterns and all those things, those designings and all could have, but they are not so important. But they are nice to have. They can delight the users and won't have other requirement. And could have can be 3 to 4. Up to now, 10 futures are completed, 10 requirements are completed, and other 10 requirements will be falling in won't have, or these are optional. Like they may be or may not be, कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता भाई साहब. This is about Moscow and Kano model. Kano model is also somewhat similar to Moscow. I don't know Moscow is derived from Kano or Kano is derived from Moscow, but I know that some method is derived from the other method, but I don't know. But both are somewhat similar. Kano is nothing but classifies the futures based on customer satisfaction. In our case, client satisfaction. Business first, Cano will be categorizing into business needs expected by users, login functionality. Basic needs are nothing but they are the must. They are the minimum basic needs. Without those basic needs, it the software is not worth it. It won't work. So basic needs are nothing but a must have. So yeah. Uh, next we'll come to performance needs. So performance needs are the one they will be improving user experience. They are like quality. I said you right, non-functional requirements, which are nothing but performance, which are nothing but performance, usability, security, and reliability. This comes under performance. They will be delighting. They will be delighting the user. User experience will be nice. Good user experience. Faster load time. It is more scalable, like more than 10 lakh people can use the software simultaneously. It is more secure, like security will be so much. It is usable. It will be, yeah, it will be creating good user experience. Karke. This comes under performance needs and excitement needs. Excitement needs are more and more like they'll be exciting, innovative futures like AI powered recommendations. Nowadays, every software is containing AI powered recommendations, right? So that is nothing but a excitement needs. They will be exciting you. Like for example, if you go to WhatsApp, it will be giving the automatic suggestions, right? It will be giving us automatic suggestions to the reply. We don't need to reply. It will only give automatic suggestions. And yeah, these are about excitement needs, and this is all about Kano model. Moscow model and Kano model are somewhat similar only. Next, we will go to 100-point method. 100-point method is nothing but stakeholders allocates 100 points to different requirements based on the priority. So there will be 20 requirements, right? So every stakeholder will be coming. We will be keeping 20 requirements on the board, one blackboard or whiteboard, and stakeholders will be coming and they will be giving the marks. They'll be giving the points to the each and every requirement, so that even we can prioritize based upon that also. 100-point method. Next is value versus effort method. Even it is also one of my favorite, guys. Actually, I use in my first company as well as last company, I used rice model. I didn't know Cano model, but I used to not rice model. I used to use Moscow method, Moscow model, value versus effort matrix, and rice model. Actually, I did not mention about rice model in this, but I will give you an idea about rice model. So value versus effect matrix also is one of my favorite matrix, one of my favorite prioritization technique. Uh, we will be we will be prioritizing based on the future which has high value and low effect. We will be implementing it first. I think I have confused you. Let's suppose take an requirement. We have 20 requirements, right? 20 requirements. We will be drawing a matrix called value versus effort matrix, and we will be in each quadrant. Like in x-axis there will be value, and y-axis there will be effort, and we will be quadrant jaisa. We will be dividing four quadrants, right? Negative, plus 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 minus 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 plus करके we will be dividing into four quadrants. Those 20 requirements को. First quadrant is high value, low effort. We will be categorizing those requirements which have high value but low effort. It's nothing but like the user story or the future will be taking low effect, but it will be creating the maximum value, high value. So we will be keeping those in the first quadrant, and we will be implementing that first. High value, low effort ko we will be implementing first. Next, we will be implementing high in the second quadrant is high value and high effort. We will be implementing high value and high effort requirements as second. We will be planning carefully. Next, low value and low effort. We will be considering if the time allows. We will be building those futures if the time allows. Low value and high effort. We will be completely removing or eliminating them, right? Avoiding or postponing. So you have to prioritize based upon the four quadrants. That is nothing but a high value, low effort, high value, high effort, low value, low effort, and low value, high effort. and you need to build a high value low effort products first, and you have to give major importance to high value and high effort in the next phase after building high value and low effort quadrant requirements. Next is cost benefit analysis. We will be prioritizing based on the return of investment and feasibility, right? It is quite intuitive, you can understand. So cost benefit is nothing but what is my cost and what is the benefit I am getting, right? If my for example, let's take one requirement. For that requirement, if it costs 20 rupees and benefit is 80 rupees, then obviously I will go to that requirement only. I will be building that requirement first. For example, if I get a cost, if I in building like sorry, if I take a requirement and the cost of building that requirement is 80 rupees, and if I am getting only 20 rupees benefit, then I will eliminate it, I will eradicate it, I will completely destroy it, and I will be avoiding and postponing it, right? So I will be prioritizing based upon return on investment only. What is the benefit? If I will be building the requirement only if my benefit is more than my cost, right? So this is cost benefit analysis. You can also do prioritization with the help of cost benefit analysis to risk based prioritization. I didn't use this risk based prioritization anytime in my life. But let's see. Even while I'm a filmmaker, right? I write scripts also. While shooting, na, I use Moscow as well as value effort matrix in order to make the scheduling, right? In order to make the scheduling, I'll be prioritizing I'll be prioritizing the scenes which are most important, must have. Next, I will be prioritizing based on should have, could have, and would have is nothing but the patchwork. At last, I will be shooting. So I'll be using prioritization methods in my filmmaking journey also. Next is risk-based prioritization, focuses on high risk areas. First, to minimize project failures. I'm not a fan of risk-based prioritization. If you like, you can do more research on risk-based prioritization. And now I'll be explaining about the RICE method. RICE stands for reach, RICE, RICE, right? RICE stands for reach, I stands for impact, C stands for confidence, and E stands for effort. In RICE, what you will be doing, okay? You'll be estimating, you'll be assuming the reach of, let's take one requirement. You'll be assuming or you'll be estimating the reach of that particular, requirement. Then you'll be understanding or not understanding, you'll be estimating or you'll be assuming the impact of the particular requirement. Then, as a business analyst, how confident you are करके, as a business analyst or as a stakeholder, how confident you are करके, you will be keeping that in confidence column, and you'll be multiplying reach into impact into confidence divided by effort. Like what is the effort taken to complete that requirement? So even rice is also one of the major popular requirement prioritization technique. I use it often, but I don't want to make it complicated. I don't want to make this course complicated, so I didn't include rice. But even it's a good one. You can follow rice method or Moscow method or Kano method or value versus effort matrix. These four methods are enough in order to gather and prioritize perfect requirements. This is a last address, guys. Last slide. Best practices for effective requirement prioritization, right? So while doing prioritization, you need to involve external stakeholders as well as internal stakeholders, so that you can take their perspectives, you can take their input, and you can build the best future, best user story, best project which is required by the end users or the client. So get inputs from business users and technical teams. As I said, you get inputs from external stakeholders as well as internal stakeholders. Use a structured approach. Follow a defined prioritization method. Like, don't only follow one, like follow two, three prioritization methods so that you can prioritize more efficiently. Continuously review priorities and adapt as per business needs and project progress. So requirements will be changing always, and you need to prioritize based upon the changes. You need to prioritize the requirements based upon the changes. Next, balance business and technical needs. So as I said, you need to balance the technical needs as well as the business, right? If you are building a software which does not contribute to the profit or revenue to the business, then it's you can say it's no use project or process, no use product, worthless product. Yeah, the product which you are building, right? The project or the product or the software which you are building should contribute and should align to the business needs. It should generate the revenue. It should generate the profit. So you need to balance business needs and technical needs. So this is the video about prioritization techniques, guys. In the next video we will be learning some more about business analysis and all those things. Thank you.